This episode of Movieology is brought to you by PatriotDepot.com. J. Edgar explores the public and private life of one of the most powerful and enigmatic figures of the 20th century. As the face of law enforcement in America for almost 50 years, John Edgar Hoover was feared and admired, reviled and revered. But behind closed doors, he held secrets that would have destroyed his image, career, and his Federal Bureau of Investigation. Could Edgar's testimony be trusted? And what was hidden from his country? J. Edgar stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Judi Dench, Armie Hammer, and Naomi Watts. It was directed by Clint Eastwood. Welcome to Movieology. I'm your guest host, Jacob Lamont. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Walking into the theater, I had neither high nor low expectations for this movie. However, I assure you, roughly an hour into the biopic, my impressions were set. This is a terrible film. It's not that it doesn't try, indeed it tries very hard, but overdoing J. Edgar contributed to the bad taste left in my mouth. And no, it was not my popcorn. As far as film quality is concerned, I really don't have any complaints. I actually enjoyed the cinematography. The attention to detail and texture for the set and costume design gave it a very gritty, realistic feel. The minimalistic score written by Eastwood himself was neither overpowering nor missing, so I suppose it was a success. The movie is the story of Hoover's lifelong career in criminal investigations and the founding of the FBI. It starts with Hoover waxing eloquent about the dangers of communism. He explains how communism corrupts the soul, quote, turning even the gentlest of men into vicious, evil tyrants, and that they have a pervasive contempt for law and order. However, as the movie plays out, Hoover, more than communism, is the one that has become the vicious, evil tyrant. Hoover the hero is consumed by Hoover the villain. On a technical note, one could legitimately argue the film's R rating is for disturbing images on account of Armie Hammer's old age makeup. It looks as though Dr. Frankenstein took a second stab at his great experiment. Naomi Watts and Leonardo DiCaprio fared only a little better. Another shortcoming is DiCaprio's awkward attempt at somewhat unknown accent that is strained and distracting. At the beginning, Hoover is young, intelligent, energetic, ambitious, hardworking, and outraged by the evil done in the name of communism. We learn that he is partly responsible for designing the card catalog system in the Library of Congress. His fervor for order and efficiency is carried into his job at the U.S. Attorney General's office as he wages war against the Bolsheviks. He is constantly striving for more reliable means of investigation: fingerprinting, scientific analysis of crime scenes, centralized intelligence, etc., etc., etc. But throughout his career, Hoover allows for more and more compromise in order to catch the bad guy, or at least to get a photograph with him in handcuffs. This comes as no surprise late in Hoover's life, since Hoover's zeal is without foundation. He has no specific moral rudder with which to lead the Bureau. As his career grows, so too does his corruption and narcissism. Contrasted with this cold, corrupt Edgar is the insecure daffodil Edgar, who is always trying to please his domineering mother. She has lofty plans for her son, and Edgar suppresses his homosexual inclinations lest he disappoint her. This side of the story is one of the more frustrating ones. We are supposed to be touched by the intimate friendship between Hoover and his number two man, Tolson. It's not as though the film shows any homosexual interaction, but Tolson has an emotional breakdown when Hoover considers marriage to a woman. It's worth noting the script was written by prominent LGBT activist Dustin Lance Black. I shed more light on this issue in my full written review at movieology.tv. The entire validity of the movie is called into question when Tolson tells Hoover that he's read Edgar's autobiography, and most of it is exaggeration, if not blatant lies. So where does that leave the movie? This scene quickly moves on to emphasize Hoover's lack of concern for his actions. Eastwood's direction rightfully condemns Hoover, but when all is said and done, the film essentially says, as long as the two guys love each other, we can overlook the corruption. As with all worldviews, this movie has its kernels of truth. The kind of baseless legalism and deceit in Hoover ought to be judged. Furthermore, their conclusion that love is central has solid biblical grounding. However, there is a vacuum in this worldview where Christ's divine authority is left out. All of the themes aside, the film is mediocre storytelling at best. Despite the chasm of differences between most secular film critics and myself, we agree that the movie leaves the viewer wanting. I think the reason for this is because J. Edgar merely proves to its audience that we ought not to be like Hoover, yet prescribes a sugar pill as the remedy. No, less than a sugar pill, it gives us a vacuous capsule which it calls love. I give this film 1.5 stars, even though J. Edgar has high production quality. In the words of Eric Mouse, fellow reviewer for Movieology, J. Edgar is, quote, merely awkward homosexual propaganda wrapped up in the life of a very interesting and iconic figure. So viewer, is Eastwood losing his touch? Do you think the film will win Oscars in spite of itself? Tell us what you think in a comment. Please join our study of films on the website movieology.tv, the source for worldview enthusiasts, news, reviews, and discussion of all things films. For decades, liberals have been stealing conservative values, claiming to be the political party of compassion. Ironically, liberal solutions are only generous by using other people's hard-earned money, furthering financial slavery by keeping people in debt and entitlements. Conservatives have the real and lasting solutions, which are clearly explained in Right-Wing Handbook, Demolishing 10 Lies of the Left. Visit PatriotDepot.com today to purchase your copy and use coupon code DIEHARD1 to get 25% off everything in their store.
One more take here.
I'm a strong, extraordinary man. Or lad. I can spit out my words with precision, clarity, and diction. Yeah, I know. That's what, it's funny. It's like all of a sudden you picture this little 10-year-old, you know. I'm a strong, exceptional lad.